Okay, we are back. As you can see, I have moved that angle connector that I was talking about in the last video. It probably took me about 10 minutes. It was really not interesting or exciting in any way, shape, or form, so I didn't want to pester you with it. Now, I had been thinking about trying to reposition the station here so that the service module port is pointed towards the planet. Then I also thought, well, maybe it'd be fun to take the cupola and point that towards the planet. Well, it doesn't matter. I can't turn this thing for anything anyway, so I think one of the things we're going to have to do is come up with modules to attach to either end of these two tanks here, because this is where all the mass is. Yeah, these have a little bit of mass, but they're not the bulk of it. I guess you know what I could do is I could take the tugs and just put them one here and one here, but whatever. For now, it's fine. Jeb, as you can see, he needs some relief. He's been up here for a while, and he's kind of losing his marbles a little bit. So this video is going to be about making a service module that can bring 3 Kerbals up and attach it and let Jeb go home. Now, unfortunately, one thing I'm realizing now is if we attach a service module to the bottom and the habitation module is on the top, because at this point we don't actually have the ability to move between modules, we have to actually EVA, that's going to be a bit of a hassle. So maybe it would make more sense to attach to the side. I could actually just take a tug and detach it from here. You know what? No, we're gonna stick with the plan, and we're going to attach the service module to the bottom. So what we need to do is design a service module. So we're going to go back to the Space Center. And what is this, vehicle assembly building? Alright. We're going to use this pod because it takes 3 Kerbals up and 3 Kerbal, and it can be operated by 1 Kerbal coming back. So we're going to take 3 up and we're going to leave them there, and we're going to bring Jeb home. I like to start with my stuff pretty high up because I know I'm going to attach, you know, millions of pounds of explosives down beneath. Now let's use, we'll just basically go capsule, docking port. No, let's put, no, I'm going to stick with the plan. And then since when we come home, we don't want to crash into the surface at blistering speeds, we're going to put a few parachutes on. I like doing 3, I feel safe with 3, and I'll put them right here so that they don't block the windows. And I think they can still get out. Let's do a test. Just called service module. Sponsored by Slurm. Let's just make sure they can get out. I'm pretty sure they can. Alright, Nedry, can you get out? Okay, he can get out. Can he get back in? Excellent! Successful test. Alright, for re-entry, that's really all we need. Capsule for them to be in, parachutes to keep them from blowing up. If I wanted to, I could take this docking port and actually put it on the other side of a little connector just to reduce the amount of mass that has to be stopped by the parachutes, but I know that the docking port would not be too much, so I'm not going to bother creating more junk. But I don't want to bring anything else back down with me. So we're going to go ahead and attach a decoupler there. A lot of times I will stick with these just because I like how much smaller they are, but it creates more junk, so. Alright. We need some fuel to operate this thing. We only need deorbit fuel at this point. So we'll do that, and how about a nice poodle engine? Where are you? There you are. Now hopefully, as long as I can get into a relatively close orbit, that should get me where I'm going. And I'm going to use some parts. This is from this is from B9. That's where these side RCS tanks come from. How much is that? 160. I don't know if that'll be enough. Just double those up, find our center of mass, and put some RCS ports in. Alright. I think that should be enough to get us where we're going. No. You know what we need? As much as I complain about it, we definitely need some ACS control. Not ACS, ACS. Did that move our center of gravity? It sure did. That might also make it so that we can use the bigger tanks, because these hold 160 each. There we go. So in case anything goes wildly wrong, I'll have plenty of monopropellant to fix it. And until we get there, we're going to need a little bit of power. Not a lot, because it's a manned module, but still some. Just throw a few battery packs on there. And a couple of solar panels just to keep them charged. That looks pretty sloppy. How's that look? Whoops. Alright, now you're just acting silly. How about this? Put one under each parachute. There we go. Alright, so we've got electricity covered. We've got RCS covered. We've got main thrust covered. We have attachment covered, re-entry. I think that should do it. Now we just got to get this thing off the ground. Now I've got a pretty standard configuration I use for lifting. It works pretty darn well. Involves 3 of these tanks, a mainsail, and you know what, I'm going to throw a mech jub on here, but I'm not going to use it. I'm going to take it off before we go. I'm just going to use it to check my delta V. Oh, and my thrust away and all that good stuff. But I'm pretty confident that this is going to work. It usually does. Get myself some radial decouplers, and I'm going to only put one on for the moment. And we'll take one of these big fuel tanks and line it up about with that seam there. Take one of these new 4-way flat connectors. I like those. Those are pretty slick. And we're going to take, I can't remember if it's these. I think it's these that I use. The ones that don't have any gimbling. We let the mainsail do all the gimbling. And the reason that we only put one of these on for now is because now I can just add 4 of those engines and they group together and everything works all nice and neat in a little package. I'm going to put a little bit of space tape on here. That'll keep it from flying off and ruining our day. So now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and select it, press X to do 2 of it, and I go just where it lines up good. And now I'm going to hold down Alt to copy it and put another one. Just like that. And you see the struts all went like magic. This, what we're doing here, is called asparagus launching, or asparagus staging. Because what's going to happen is, on liftoff, all of these engines are going to fire, and the fuel is going to drain from this tank and this tank into this tank and this tank, and then this tank and this tank drain into this tank. And so what ends up happening is that your fuel gets used up here first, and then you drop those 2. Then you use up the fuel in these 2, and you drop those. And now you've got full tank left in the center when that's all that's left. I don't think in reality it's the most efficient way to do it, but so far in Kerbal Space Program, it's the best way I've found to reliably get into orbit. I'm going to run a fuel line from here to here, and we're going to run a fuel line from here to here. And you notice because of the mirroring, it did the same thing on the other side. Alright. Throw a little more space tape on, just to keep these guys nice and sturdy. That'll do it for that. Now the next thing we got to do is make sure that everything stages correctly. So at the moment, we've only got 1.42 thrust to weight ratio. Not good. We need to get to at least 1.6, but the good news is the mainsail, for whatever reason, never ends up in the right stage. You drag it down, plenty of thrust to weight ratio. In fact, we're a bit overbuilt, but that's okay. And now you want to set up the stages so that they go correctly, because it puts all of those radial decouplers in the same stage. So we want to drop this one and this one at the same time before we drop this one and this one. So we'll take that decoupler, we'll drag it down, and then its partner one always ends up being the other one that's not in a group. There we go. And let's just double check our other stages here. So the next stage is there. That's good. That's good. Perfect. Just bring this all down a little ways. Another thing I like doing is putting on a little extra control for while it's in atmosphere. So we got 4 wings, or I actually use the canards. They seem to work best for me. And then we'll put some launch support on. There we go. Everything's in the right place. We've got plenty of thrust to weight ratio through our first several stages, and more than enough delta V, it looks like, to get where we're going. So we're going to go ahead and save this. We got Bill, Bob, and Nedry. That should work. And I don't need to... you know what? I am going to set up one custom command so that I don't have to right-click for it. On command 1 here, I'm going to select this, and I'm going to do that. That way, when I'm flying around, I can just press number 1, and then the shield will open, and I can dock. Other than that, I think we are ready to give this a try. Yep, everything looks good, so let's go for launch. Here's one thing I didn't do that I do usually do, and that's to put some extra struts around the decoupler, because sometimes that gets a little wobbly. But we'll give it a try. We'll see how it goes. There's not a lot of weight up here, so we'll try it out. Now, the other thing I want to do is I want to minimize the amount of effort it takes to get to where we're going. So what I'm actually going to do is I need the space station to be right about here when I take off. That way, once I reach orbit, we should be close. Close enough. I'm going to go ahead and set that as my target. And we're going to use a little time warp. This is a good sign. Nothing is... Oh, I forgot to take mech Jeb off. Just to prove that it can be done without an autopilot. Once you get good at it, then you can use mech Jeb. Simplify the things that you don't feel like doing. There we go. Okay. We'll set our target. Everything's looking good in here. He is eager to go. Now what we're going to do, when we take off, we're going to try to keep going straight up until we get to about 7,000 meters. At 7,000 meters, we're going to start to turn towards 90. And we want to keep on this plane, because what that'll do is it'll keep our orbit in line with the space station's orbit. It's a 0-degree inclination, or very close to it anyways. And so what we should do is we'll end up taking off from the planet, coming up, getting going, and then hopefully meet up right around here. Or at least that's the plan. I've noticed since 0.21, things that used to work very consistently sometimes don't work the way I expected them to. Anyway, let's get our space station where we want it. Right about there, that looks good. Got SAS on, we don't want to go flopping around. Throttle up. And 3, 2, 1, lift off. stage is away, all is good. Passing 6,000 meters. Alright, we're going to start our gravity turn towards 90, towards the east. Good. Got some time. Let's check the map, see how we're doing. You see our apoapsis is growing and moving further away. That time is increasing, not decreasing. That's a good thing. If it were decreasing, it would mean we would not be climbing fast enough and we are on a collision course, basically, with the ground. So now we're going to take this apoapsis up to about 150. We do have a stage to drop. Clean separation, excellent. One thing I also forgot is I didn't put any controllers on my main stage here in order to bring it back down to the planet after we're done using it up. So, let's see. I don't know if I've got enough fuel in the service module to circularize our orbit with it. Looks like we're going to end up with a little bit of space junk out there. Alright, so we're coming up on where I want it to go, and stop. Now, what we can see here is that all of these little indicators tell us where we're going to meet up with the space station. Our closest approach right now puts the space station here when we're here. So I waited too long. That's okay, we'll catch up to it. But that does mean that I need to keep the main stage around in order to circularize. So we're going to add a maneuver that will raise our periapsis. And I'm actually going to not quite catch up all the way. I'm going to make it a little bit lower, just so that we can use it to gain a little speed behind the space station. You see how the orange indicators are getting a little closer? We're not going to be able to do it in one pass, though. Let's go ahead and line up with our indicator here, because we've only got a minute and a half to get there. And then we're going to burn for 1100 meters a second, or approximately 43 seconds, it says. So if we're going to go for 43 seconds, we want to start our burn a little bit early, about 20 seconds, at T-minus 20 seconds. We'll warp up a little bit. Alright. Let's start burning. The reason that I start the burn early is because I end up burning past the time a lot too, so I try to do half before and half after. Oh, we've just gone into orbit. we now know we won't crash back into the planet because of the way the camera changed. That'll do. So at this point, we're going to get rid of the big, heavy, hard to maneuver stage. And we'll finish the 13 meters per second we had left on the burn. Just like this. That's good. And what that did is that gave me some space between me and that big rocket. Alright, so now at this point, it's going to take us a while to catch up. So you see here, at the first time we go, we're going to be 158 kilometers apart. The second orbit will be 84 kilometers apart. So we gained about half the distance. So maybe by the third orbit, we'll be close enough. So maybe I'll just go with this and time warp our way there, but a little quick save, just in case anything goes wrong. Can we see our target on the screen yet? Should be just ahead of us. No, not close enough. Alright, so now we can see that's not actually going to work out the way we had hoped. So when we get here, I'm going to raise the apoapsis just a bit. And I'm going to try to get them to come closer. Let's see, where's the best place to... Probably right about there. There we go. See that? See how we got the 4.3 kilometers apart. I could probably do even a little bit better than that. 1.8. Perfect. All for 89 meters per second. That's a fantastic burn. So I'm going to go ahead and line up. And let's fast forward, so I don't really want to sit here for 10 minutes. Alright. Don't forget your quick saves, folks. Always good when you're in a good, stable place that you could redo everything from to quick save. I'm going to do this burn from here just so that I can physically see my orbits line up and look correct. And again, we're going to do it at 4 seconds because we got an 8-second estimated burn. Actually, I might do it at 5. It takes a little bit to get the engine going. Go. Almost there. Just tweak it here at the end. Oop, went over just a pinch, but I think we'll still be okay. So go ahead and get rid of our maneuver. 2.1. That will be close enough. Can't see it still. How far away are we? 116. What is this? Is that our debris? Yeah, that's our debris that we see up there. So when this gets to under 100 kilometers distance, we should be able to see it on the screen. So you see, the reason that we're able to gain on it now is because we've lowered our orbit underneath it, and the lower orbit goes faster. So what we've done is we lower our orbit from here. It's higher over here, so all we really did is just shifted it over and then brought the orbits intersecting back here. So when we get here, we're going to have to fix our orbit again so that we don't just keep flying away from it. So I'm going to go ahead and set up another maneuver here to just do that. And then you see you get another intersect indicator here. Once we get that, so that they stay together, we know we're pretty darn good. Okay, so here we'd be 4.4, here we would be 1.7. That should be close enough. So now we know we need 102 meters a second burn to align with the space station. Then we'll take it from there manually. Oh, and look, here we are, under 100 kilometers away. We got it on the screen. So let's go ahead and find our maneuver node indicator. There it is. And again, we're going to quick save from here. And I don't want to wait 10 minutes, so a little fast forward. See the space station getting closer and closer. We've already switched into target mode. We'll make use of that in just a second here. Alright. We are fairly close. We're still lined up. We're going to wait until our T-minus gets to go with 6 this time. There we go. Just do some last minute tweaking to get it right on. There we go. Alright, so now we're going to stop using maneuver nodes. So I'm going to go get rid of that. And we're going to start focusing on navball use. Right now, in target mode, and if you want to change it, you just click on it and it'll go between orbit, surface, and target mode. We definitely want target mode, and what it shows us is, like I was talking about in the other videos, the relative velocity indicator. So this direction increases our relative velocity towards the space station, whereas exactly 180 degrees is going to be the retrograde, or the reverse direction. So if I were to burn in this direction, I would decrease my, or push away from the space station. The other direction would push me towards the space station. Now I've got a 7.1 meter per second relative velocity. Since I don't know for sure if I'm moving towards or away, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just give it a little bit of juice while pointed retrograde, because what I want to do is I want to zero out my relative velocity. Alright, so it looks like we are moving away, or towards, excuse me. So I'm going to try to bring that down to 0. And I'm not going to use any RCS yet at this point because it'll just complicate things. Okay, we are now actually moving towards it. But the cool thing is we are moving very close to actually directly at it. So we're 2.6 kilometers away. I'm going to aim over here to try to bring my velocity to aim us right at it. There we go. And now I'm going to point right at the space station. And we're going to get about 10 meters a second going. Close enough. Now before we get there, we want to be ready to slow ourselves down, because if we don't, bad things will happen, and we'll just ruin Jeb and Bill and Bob and Nedry's day. So we're going to point retrograde. And we're going to speed up time a little bit here. Kind of hoping the sun comes out before we get there anyway. There we go. Look at that, we're getting close enough to where we can see it. Alright, so at this point I want to do a little bit of a corrective burn, so I'm going to slow down. And I like bringing myself all the way down to 0, or at least close to it. So I feel like when everything's zeroed out, I can control everything a little easier. There we go. Now you have a couple of options at this point. We are fairly close to it, but we're still fairly far. If you use your main thrusters at this point, you're going to need to use your main thrusters to slow down. If you use RCS, it's going to take you forever. So we're going to quick save, and we're going to thrust towards it, but this time we're going to only go maybe 2 meters a second. Get ready to stop once we get closer. There we go. I'll speed up just a little bit, not too much. Things get out of hand pretty fast here. And what we're aiming for is about 30 meters. Any closer and it just starts getting too close for my comfort for using main thrusters. So it looks like the cupola is currently pointed towards the planet, so we're going to have to get on the far side of the station. Alright, that's pretty close. Let's null out because we're going past it on the top. Oh, pushed away just a little bit. That's okay, it's close enough. So now I'm going to actually aim a little under it, because I need to go under it anyway. Go. Get ready to stop again. Right about there. Now since we're going under it, we don't have to worry about stopping before we get to it, because we do want to go past it just a pinch. We'd hate to smack into any of those solar panels. That'd ruin everybody's day. Yeah, so right about there, that looks pretty good. Alright, now we're going to start playing the... Oops, I should turn the other way. Now we're going to start playing the RCS game. Turn on the RCS, and we're going to use H to move forward. We'll quick save again. And we can also see where we want to connect. So we're going to target the actual port we're headed for, which is right there. And now that we are using RCS, we don't have to turn around to null out our momentum or our velocity. We can just point prograde and press N, and then that kills our momentum. So let's go ahead and switch to chase mode. And we're going to try to line up with the alignment here. That looks pretty good. Let's shimmy over first. And as you can see, the relative velocity indicator on the nav ball comes in handy. Well, not so much when we don't have forward motion. There we go. There, now that I've got forward motion, I can see the relative velocity is even with the pink target indicator. There we go. I'm going to use caps lock to give myself fine control. I can also see that I am moving upwards, like away from it a little bit. If I wanted to move right at it, I don't actually want to move at it just yet because I would crash in it at the wrong angle. But here, let's just rotate and align correctly this way. And then what I'm talking about will make a little bit more sense when we get there. Nice right angle. Still looking pretty good here. Shimmy over just a pinch. No. See, this is not first time that I've made that mistake today. Thankfully this time I corrected it fast enough. Alright, get that relative velocity back in the middle. So now we can see the target indicator coming into view. I'm okay that I'm floating away because it keeps that velocity indicator where I can see it. Just remember, nice, easy, slow, deliberate. So I'm going to move over just a little bit. Alright, now we're coming up to where we want to stop moving upward. There we go. That should have us only moving away, so we're going to open up our docking port and we're going to start moving towards the space station. We're going to line up our velocity indicator right on the space station in the pink rectangle. You see it's right in the center. And if we've done everything correctly, this should just attach with very little fuss. I'll slow it down just a little bit. And any second the magnetic force of the docking port should take it, and boom, we are attached. Hooray! You can now see Jeb is very excited. He's going to get to go home. The other guy's a little less excited. They just realized they're not going anywhere. Oh, nope. Bill is actually happy. Excellent. Let's see. Bill, well, that's because he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't have a good view. You can see the solar panels off to the side there. There's where we attached. That's the joint. From the other view, there is Kerbin. Wonderful. Alright. Time to move our Kerbins from their capsule here. Where's the door? From here to here. We're going to have to do this using EVA because unfortunately we can't just send them through the station at this point. Hopefully in the future that'll be an option. So let's move these solar panels out of the way. And we'll start with Bill since he's got the worst view. Oh yeah, quick save. Always quick save. Alright. Press space to let go, and then remember to press R to turn on his little rocket pack. Not liking how this is going. Oh well. Apparently I forgot to change the view. There we go. You know what, let's just go ahead and take them that way. Watch your head. Get ready to grab. Oh, hey. Oh boy. There we go. Whew. Just getting nervous. Alright, in you go. Excellent. So now Jeb, no longer alone. Look, buddy. It's your friend. Alright. We got 2 more to move. Let's try changing the view this time. Let's try free. Alright, space to let go. A little rocket pack action. Go left. Yeah, this is working much better. Whoa. Much better. In you go. Last one. Nedry. Do I have fine control for them as well? Yes, yes I do. If you didn't know, caps lock will turn on fine control for RCS and jetpacks. The poor little Kerbals. They got such little mass, it doesn't take much to start flinging them through space. Excellent. Nobody's lost. Wonderful. And everybody's here. Is that Jeb? He looks a little sad if that's Jeb. I don't think that's him though. No, that one's Jeb. Yeah, you can tell who Jeb is. Always fascinated. I like that. I got some science. Got some more science. Some board games, some toothbrushes. It's a big box for toothbrushes. Gotta keep them teeth clean. Too bad I can't see anything from the windows. Oh! I take it back. Look, there's Kerbin. Excellent. Alright, so this mission is only half over. Now that we have successfully re-staffed the space station with fresh recruits, it is time for Jeb to go home. So, a little quick save action. How are we on fuel in here? We got some fuel. Let's go ahead and just well, you know what? We got enough fuel. The station's a little low itself. How about monopropellant? More than enough monopropellant. Alright. Come on, Jeb. What a view, huh? Actually, before he leaves, he wants to take one more look out of the cupola. Yep. A lot of space. And remember, you do have spare fuses. Alright. Let's go home, Jeb. Oop, too much. There we go. Just like docking. Slow, deliberate, easy. Yeah, just like docking. Okay, there we go. Alright. Jeb has said his fond farewells. He's going to fly home from the worst possible seat. Good choice. Undock. Something's not right. Something went wrong. Where's Jeb? He's in here. I don't like it. I'm gonna reload. I would hate to fly him all the way home just to find out a glitch made him not get there. Okay, here's Jeb. He's in the craft, as he should be. These guys are still where they should be. Maybe we should say control from here. Undock. That's strange. Well, let's go with it. RCS on. SAS on. Back away. Close the docking port. And let's plan a landing. Where do we want to land? Do we want to land near Kerbal Space Command? That's like right around there, isn't it? This is one thing that I am horrible at. It's precision landing. Alright, let's use this to do a little aero braking. Bring ourselves into the atmosphere. Alright. See, 73 meters a second. I don't think that's more than a couple of seconds of burn. We'll find out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See ya, suckers! Alright. Goodbye, space station. Get rid of our maneuver node. And then... God, I wish I could remember for sure where Kerbal Space Command was. I think it's somewhere around here. Or is it here? I know. We've got some debris sitting on the launch pad. There it is. We might be alright. So if we hit here, and then we do a little bit more deorbit burning here, I think we'll be okay. So we're going to add a maneuver at our periapsis to bring this down. Now I always seem to either land really far or really short, so we're going to try right about there, because I think the rotation of the planet will probably actually bring it further than that, so we'll do it there. Now I don't know if you know this or not, but you can fly your ship completely in map mode. Just doesn't look as pretty. Alright, got 11 minutes to wait. Not gonna wait that long. We've gotten within the realm of atmosphere, so we see our warp indicator has changed to how much we can actually warp now. Now, see, as we can see, like I said, it always kind of moves around on me. So let's actually take this back here. Let me see, we're already... Actually, no, we're gaining speed. Go figure. Oh, it's because our orbit's getting smaller as we come in closer to the planet. That's why we're gaining speed. That makes sense. Okay, less than a minute left to our burn. How are we looking? Looking good. Looking good. About ready to have a beautiful sunrise. There it is. Good morning, Kerbin Nam, or whatever. Sorry. I'll shut up now. Alright, well, we got a 40-second burn, so let's go ahead and just do it. Alright. And... stop. Don't need this anymore. And we don't need this anymore. Uh-oh. Oh. That's not good. We just released the parachute. I went too far forward in the stages. Fortunately, it looks like they are smart enough to not deploy when an idiot operator tells them to. So as you can see, the rotation of the planet, bringing my point closer and closer. We are still gaining speed at this point, but here pretty soon we're going to start picking up some atmospheric resistance, and we will start losing speed at a phenomenal rate. And although we don't have to worry about it in the game yet, I like to keep myself pointed retrograde. That way I know my heat shield is aimed at the bulk of the friction. Can turn off RCS. We don't have any RCS anymore. There's Kerbal Space Command. Good morning, Kerbal Space Command. Maybe that's what I should have said instead of something stupid. As we cross into 30,000 meters, I think we'll start getting a little flame up. You can see we are already slowing down dramatically. Yep, here we go. Keep pointed at retrograde. And my hope... Now see, were this real life, my parachutes would be done. Thankfully, that's not part of it yet. But my hope is that we will slow down enough and land just offshore. And when we stop having the heat, I'm just going to turn off SAS, and I'm going to let the laws of physics dictate which way I point now. This is working out quite well. Too bad you didn't sit in the good seat, Jebediah. We'd be able to actually see something interesting. But I'll take it. 10 kilometers off the coast of Kerbal Space Command. Not bad at all for a completely manually operated mission. I think these chutes open at 500 feet or meters. Yep. And we have successful splashdown. Well, we will. There we go. Successful splashdown. And there was much rejoicing. And so now to just end this flight, as of 0.21, you'll have to do this. So it used to be you would end the flight right there. Now we go back to the Space Center, go to the tracking station. There's our service module splashed down at Kerbal Space Command, and we just recover it. And there we go. That is how you build a service module to take off from Kerbal Space Command, get into orbit, meet up with a space station, dock with it, transfer crew, return from orbit, and splash down relatively close to where you were looking for. I hope you've enjoyed it, and until the next time.